What's up, everybody? This is your host, Rafi Husseini, and co host Talha Javed. And this is the first episode of 2325 Fit. 2325 Fit is a podcast that's going to be covering the basics of diet, workout, and how to lead a healthy and a sustainable lifestyle. We will be covering majority of topics from bodybuilding to CrossFit, athletic training to endurance training, MMA, you name it, it probably will be covered in this podcast. So stay tuned. Please sign up and subscribe and stay tuned for the exciting adventure and journey into a whole new fitness world. What you been up to these days, man? How's quarantine been? I know you just came back from your vacation recently.
Yeah, so had some family festivities, had personal move, so been really hectic, but in a good way. So yeah, if your question is if I been focused on fitness, no, I'm not.
I mean, that was what I was indirectly getting at,
Yeah,
but
I know.
sure, let's. I mean, I know that you've been out of the game for a while now, and I know you started it up again.
Yeah.
So let's just get into it. Like one thing I would ask you is how has it been for you? Like you're in and out. So how are you trying to keep up with it? How are you doing it?
I don't know if you're asking with COVID or just in general, like these
Well, let's
days.
let's talk about COVID, right? I mean, in
Yeah.
general, we're not even gonna get there about your general routine, but let's talk about COVID
hmm
right now.
Yeah. So I think it was like when COVID started in like March, a lot of people, in my opinion, kind of just quit in a way. They were like, there's nothing else you can do at home because they're so used to going to the gym in public gyms and whatever, Gold's Gym, Planet Fitness, wherever you go. For me, it was more like I was kind of lazy at that time and I was like, this is my chance to try a home gym, which I know many of us have heard about. And I just started looking at different things and equipment. And it's not even that difficult to start up at your home. The main things you'd need is a bench, maybe free weights, and if you can, a squat rack with barbell and weights. For me, I started off with free weights and a bench, and I got lucky. I got a squat rack for like 120 bucks. But in short, it's very doable. Everything you do in the gym, maybe not like specific machines to target that one specific muscle, but in general, the compound movements, the main movements you need, it's all doable in your house. It's actually a lot more comfortable. You can do whenever you want. No one's around. You don't have to wait, clean your weights, whatever. So in short, since COVID started, I think it was a good thing for me personally because I bought a squat rack weights, which was free weights, barbell, Olympic weights, and a bench. And I just started my whole fitness routine, which is on and off. Once again, it's on again for the rest of this year, leading up to now.
That's pretty sweet, man. I mean, and like you said, a lot of people did fall out. Like there's I just go to the gym every now and then, not even that often, because just like you, I was able to set up something at home. But when I'm going to the gym, I've seen so many people that are regular to the same gym that I go to, and
hmm
I've seen like a drastic change, like how fit they're before COVID, and now they're just like completely thrown off. Like they have a belly, they're just like getting back into, oh,
Dude,
damn, this is real.
that's me too. Because another thing is cardio is a killer. And then I guess with me it's different because I personally, purposely gained weight just to see if I could do that transformation like a lot of people do, gain weight first and then lose it.
Yeah.
Uh, but another thing to note before all this started in COVID was, I don't know, I personally freaked out. I was like, if you all even walk outside, you're gonna get COVID. Don't go anywhere. And then when gyms opened up, I was still one of those people. I still am till today. I'm not about to go to
Yeah.
the gym. So I think I'll continue to keep my home gym and add things onto it. And for me, it's a lot easier. Like I said, more convenient, I guess you could say, for me personally.
It's definitely a really, really good investment. Let's uh let's talk about like how's your health been? Now let's talk about like the like in health wise, like have you seen a difference in when you were in a regular routine working out before COVID or whatever? And then I know you had an injury, you had a setback, you took some time off and of course you're trying to, put some weight on and stuff. Like how has that impacted your health?
Yeah. So number one, I'd say everyone has a different perspective and values pertaining to health. The word health. Some people could be like yourself, who like to stay lean and do more cardio and stuff. other people like to look good and muscular and, I don't know, carry more weight. Some people might think health is just eating the right things and not necessarily working out. It could be like getting the right vitamins and minerals in. So it kind of depends on everyone what your take is. But for me personally, health, uh, I'd say working out at least 5 days a week for an hour. And that workout to me, workout, you can be anything. It could be like someone could go to the gym and say they're working out and do an exercise, take a 5 minute break, walk around, 5 minutes later, do another rep or set. And then, but anyways, for me, it's doing 4 to 5 exercises, about 4 to 5 sets as well, and then or 8 to 10 reps, and then fitting that in within an hour. To me, that's considered healthy, doing that 5 days a week. Aside from that, keeping off of like fast foods, soda, all the junk food you hear about, candy, sugar. But of course, with my personal fitness, I guess you call it journey, this COVID, I was trying to gain weight on purpose. So in the past, the heaviest I've ever been in my life is 208 pounds. I'm 5'11", and that's probably about 5 years ago when I'd consider myself pretty fit, and I measured my body percent fat quite often, and I was probably around 7% at that time. The lowest I've ever been, and this isn't the accurate, it was just one of those handheld ones, was 6%. So, anyways, now with COVID, purposely eating a lot, no cardio. I usually play basketball a lot or sports, but just staying inside of our apartment, I got up to 230 pounds. So, with that being said, uh, I wouldn't consider that healthy, but at the same time, I was working out and I was doing that on purpose. So in my mind, I kind of had a plan to go along with, just to test my body. And I still considered the health factor being me working out consistently, even though my body weight was higher, and that's like fat percentage as well. So I don't know. I don't know if that answers your question.
For sure. I mean, it does answer the aspect that like like what people think of health, right? My question was more pertaining to like how you felt health wise. Now, what I mean by that is like, as you mentioned, health perspective is different. So there's a lot of factors that go into health, right? Like your mood, your sleep, the way your body is energized, you're lazy, you're not lazy, how active you are. So in that aspect, would you say like when you were working out, your body was more energetic, you were better, you were like enjoying, you were happier, or like when you're not working out, or does that impact you at all? Because that's
Oh,
like that's really what defines health for a lot of people. People like there's so many people that I know that don't work out. They're like skinny, or even if they might be overweight, but they're just happy the way they are. They enjoy their health. I don't know if it's fake or if it's real, but it's really hard to tell how people perceive health when it comes to that. When it comes to health, and then putting that together with fitness.
right. So 100%, I feel like after you get a good workout in, and if you're consistent, you notice the results right away, is you're just mentally more relaxed. And I'd say you are feeling at a better place rather than laying around all day and you're just like, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, for sure. When you're working out consistently, your mental state of mind is better, you feel better, and overall, I feel like your day and your sleep habits as well, everything improves, I feel like.
Absolutely. That's something that I've personally seen in myself as well. And you've also realized that a lot of people now we talked about the health aspect, right? Now let's come to the fitness aspect of it. Now, when it comes to fitness, what comes to your mind? Like apart from weightlifting or like going to the gym every single day. Let's put a day-to-day perspective when it comes to fitness. What do you think?
Right. So I think we've all heard this saying like 80% of, you know, what fitness is your diet. I'd say that plays a huge role into it. Just like experimenting this past summer, how I said I gained weight. I purposely ate over 3,500 calories a day. Within 2 weeks, I
You
noticed
didn't
a
track it.
difference.
It was just for you
Uh,
knowing.
I I did track it. No, I did. I used MyFitnessPal, which is very common. But once I got an idea of what 3,500 calories looks like, and I got used to the foods, I didn't have to track it anymore because I was just like mentally taking note of it. But it would be so easy to do it because I would eat literally everything, anything I could. And this includes like the junk foods that I'm talking about. There was like no limits.
My question was like in a day-to-day perspective, right?
Yeah.
how would you say, like we talked about health, what is health? Health is our energy levels, us trying to be active. We don't want to be lazy. We want to do things. Our bodies in a completely whole different state, physical and a mental state, right? And when it comes to
Yeah.
fitness, apart from lifting weights or playing sports or like doing that kind of thing, what do you like? What have you seen in your life, or what do you consider in a day-to-day perspective that what a fit person is, or how fitness can be measured?
Okay, gotcha. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. So there's different aspects outside of like the lifting. I got what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, yeah, for sure. One is you mentioned all these kind of already is like sleep, what you eat. It's like a routine too. Like let's say some people like to work out at 5 a.m. and they get in the habit of it. Then every day they wake up at like 3:34. There's people that do that. Um, and their routine revolves around that. And since they have that routine going, it's easier for them to do other things. Like let's say they have a goal in mind of building a backyard shed. I don't know. They'll know a plan already, saying it's going to take this long, and every day I got to do this at 2 p.m. and they'll be finished by the end of the month. Like working out, it's like a goal. Once you know what you want to do, it's like you see a visual of what your body should look like in a way. And when you get that experience, you know the things you can target your own muscles with, or what foods you can eat to target and make your muscles bigger or smaller, or strength. There's different ways of working out for strength. It's not all the same. Um, but yeah, I'd say food and sleep. Aside from that, it's kind of just the basics, vitamins, minerals, and all that. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think one thing that you really a good point that you brought up is how you give the example of someone wants to build a shed, right? Now, I didn't know about this until later, but that's when I realized, like, I mean, subconsciously, that's what we are as human beings. We're always like picking things, lifting things, doing things here and there. And when we were younger, we just do it. When you're older, we get tired. The key to doing it without getting tired or like getting fatigue and when you're older is being in a good shape. And that's where fitness plays a role, is that when you're working out, when you're playing sports, when you're active, you can do your day-to-day stuff without any issues. Like you can lift bags of groceries, you can lift stuff without having issues. And that's something that people don't realize, I think, is the biggest thing that people don't realize. That they always think that, oh, I like run a couple times a week, I eat good, I'm healthy, and I'm fit. They don't get that differentiation of what health and fitness individually mean, and why these two need to be combined to have a sustainable life. So it's a very good point that you brought, because if someone's building a shed, he needs to know exactly what he's doing and what, like, if he's lifting, if he's bending, if he's cutting stuff or whatever, he needs to know what body part of it is going to move and have that structure, which is a really good thing.
Right. To go back to your example about the grocery, that's another thing too. I guess some people relate health to functionality in life and longevity. Let's say when you're like way older and you see one guy that's like 50 and he's like kind of in shape and you can see it. He's having no problem going up the stairs, down the stairs. Like you said, lifting groceries, just daily things. Another guy, 50, overweight, having a hard time walk, might need like a crutch or something, and whatever it is. All that stems from early, what you're doing early in life. And then also, I don't know why we were talking about a shed, but I was just laughing
That
at
just came
that.
up to mind.
I don't know, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's talk
Well,
about
oh, yeah,
building in general,
yeah,
construction.
for sure, for sure. And it all comes with experience, like knowing which a plan. But a perfect example of this is for someone that has experience. Like if you do push-ups, if you have never done push-ups before, and you do push-ups consistently for a month, let's say you do it every day. I don't know. And then you get used to it. You get up to like 50 push-ups. You can do 50 push-ups, and you stop for a month. You try to do push-ups again. You could probably get 30, but trying hard. And you do push-ups once you get that muscle memory and experience of what your body is like. So you start off a month. You do it every day. You stop for a month, and you try that week again. You can only get 30. It'll only take you then another week to kind of get a handle on those push-ups again. It'll be much easier than when you first start. I don't know if that makes sense, but muscle memory in general. Um, Push-ups is the perfect example for anyone that's done it. To me personally, I think because if you do push-ups for 3 days, it gets easier right away. That's kind of like everything else with lifting. If you're consistent with it, your body adapts and it gets easier, and you can move on to more strenuous exercises and push yourself even more. I don't know
That's
how to
the
explain it to you.
no, no. I mean, you did a really good example because that's the thing, right? When you see a lot of like farmers that are working, uh, that's their living, right? They're every day in the field, they're working. So when they are put to some task that's like rigorous or that needs energy, for them it's normal. They do a lot more than what's needed, you know. And then so eventually, when you get older and older and older, when you like the same thing, right? When you're younger, you don't work out, you pick up groceries, whatever, you're fine. But when you get older and older, of course, your body's gonna give up because you were literally doing that one single thing or that few single things that your body got used to. So now it's just gonna be now again. I've heard this over and over again. Our body always wants to like save energy. Our body always wants to like save itself from giving out. So if you don't do workout, if you don't lead a healthy lifestyle, if you don't like put in the effort, anything could be like you said, body weight, workouts, gym, cardio, whatever it is, whatever your goals are, it's like a it's like a support system for when in the future when these things are going to give out, that'll help. So that's a really good point that you brought up. Now I think one of the biggest things that we really should let people know, the two people that would probably be watching this, is uh one thing that's really interesting to see is your journey. And I mean, of course, my journey, how we got into this is, and not how, actually, like why we got into it and why it was better. So just shed some light on it, man. Like, because when I met you, and from the time that I've known you for like 4 years now, you've been in really good shape. You've been athletic, and you said 6-7% body fat. That's like bodybuilding level, but you never competed or you didn't go any pro level.
Hmm.
So just let just like talk about how, like, what led you to that. The reason
Okay.
why I ask you, and I will shed some light on the story as well, is because in our culture, especially the brown, the Arab, the South Asian or the Asian culture, the Desi or the Arab culture, as people call it, we don't consider being fit or being healthy that's this route. People would consider that, oh, if you eat good, if you look, you look full and stuff like that, that's healthy. That's fit. If they look at you or they look at me when we're at our leanest, they'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, ye to kamzor, like he's weak, kind of a deal.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
what got you into it.
I got you. So I think it's just like any average guy growing up as a young kid. You watch things like boxing, wrestling, and now UFC. Um, you just have this drive to be competitive, even with sports at a young age. And then growing up, you always want to. You see guys that are fit and muscular that are much older, and you're like, man, I want to be like that. And when you're younger, let's say like elementary, middle school, you think like you have muscles and stuff, and you try to brag and show off about it. And then it's funny to look at like 15 years later, like, what the heck was I doing taking those kind of pictures or flexing like that or whatever it is. But for me, it's like I've always been into sports, and being in sports brings that competitive drive and always want to like better yourself. And then also, um, being in sports, you want to be better than the other person competitively. So just being a typical guy with that competitive edge into sports, and just seeing like people with muscles and strong, and I guess it's also an ego thing in a way where you want to be stronger than another guy if something happens, or show off, not even show off, but just like those kind of reasons could come up. But in the beginning, you feel like you know what you're doing, like any other guy. You do push-ups at home, you get a dumbbell, start doing curls all day, every week, every month, and you feel like that's it, push-ups and curls. Then you realize there's more to it. And then there's things like compound movements, squats. Your legs are the base and create a lot for your body and strength, and have a good base, and it'll increase everything, good core. So anyways, starting off as a beginner and in school and all that, in like high school, and my journey was the typical bicep curler, push-ups. Taking weightlifting class in high school, which was very basic, learning how to do squats, uh, leg press, the basic bench press, trying to prove yourself in class and say I'm stronger than so and so when you're not. And then for me, it officially kicked off, I'd say, in college, when one of my good friends, he's been working out for a while, and he really put a structure down and made the intensity of the workout a lot more. And within that 3 to 6 months, I noticed results like no other. And I was always against like pre-workout, post-workout, protein, whatever it is, supplements. I still don't take any supplement except for protein. I just feel like that benefited me a lot. Reason being, like you said, desi people, I eat Zabiha food only. And a lot of the times, it's not difficult to get Zabiha food, but it's a lot more convenient to have protein on hand. So that day, if I don't feel like going out and getting like a tuna sub or something or whatever it is, cook at home, I just have a protein shake, and it's kind of like a filler. I wouldn't recommend always having protein shakes, but alongside your meals or once a day, I would recommend it. But going back to college, that's when it really started for me. Um, my friend really helped me out. His name's Mahir, and Muslim guy too. Um, we went to the gym, and you see, he's already a muscular dude, tall, fit, and I was like, man, I want to be like you. So he took me to the gym. I started working out with him, and instead of doing just curls all day or whatever it is, and I already knew from weight training, you got to split up your workouts, have a day break, the basics. But then what he told me was supersets, for example, or taught me. And then the intensity of only having a minute or 30, 45-second break for the workouts we were doing, even having 5 or 6 exercises for the day instead of just 3 or 4. And that's kind of when it took off. And then the interest came from there. Like once you get a little bit of knowledge and a little more than the basics, I guess you could say, I started watching YouTube videos, articles, researching the differences about, you know, a lot of cardio versus less cardio, and like sprinter versus long runners, how long runners are have to be lighter and much more skinnier to be able to maintain those long, I don't know, 20-mile runs, as opposed to a sprinter who sprints like 400 meters or whatever. Long story short, my fitness journey started as any other typical guy, working out at home with push-ups and dumbbells, to going to the gym, learning from someone else, watching YouTube videos, and that really just kicked it off. The biggest thing to me I learned was being consistent and pushing your body more and more once you adapt to something. Yeah, so with my personal fitness journey, to put it all in a nutshell, is basically just a typical guy growing up in like middle school, high school. You lift dumbbells at home, do push-ups, but then you learn more as. So to wrap all that up in a nutshell, I was just a typical guy, just like anybody else would be in middle school, high school, doing push-ups at home, crunches, curls, whatever. And then, finding a friend that knew what he was doing, and you see results, and start working out with him, learn stuff, watch YouTube videos, learn what exercises work best for me and my body, because everybody's different, and then what foods to eat and focus on to build that muscle and being consistent. So anyways, typical guy learning from the basics. I'm no professional or a pro by any means.
That's actually very relatable for how people start. I mean, the reason why I call this a journey, and every other person that goes into fitness calls it a journey, because it is a whole process. It is a whole, like, I think this is the only fitness is the only journey where you don't really have an end goal, in a way that you can always get better. Like, for example, like the reason why I got into fitness, why I'm so passionate about it, why I love it so much, is because for me, okay, let's be real. I started losing weight because I was getting married. But before that, where I stand today, where I sit today, this is like the best shape I've ever been in my life, even before I gained weight. So back in 2012, I got injured, and that led to a huge weight gain for me. Like, I was close to 200 pounds up until 2 years ago. And then when I was getting married and when I started losing weight to get in shape, as every single person does, I realized that subconsciously I was losing weight, right? And that motivated me, really. Like, they say that your motivation should not be the reason for you to do something. Your results should be the reason for you to be motivated to do something. And that's exactly what happened with me. Is like, I just started working out. I changed a few habits here and there. I love swimming, so I started swimming a lot. And then in the span of a month, I saw I'm down like 20 pounds. I remember the first time I checked my weight in a month of working out was at my friend's house. Just his weight scale was just right there. I just got on. I was like, what the? Like, my weight just went down. And then I'm like, just keep doing this. And and it made my life so much better. You know, like my body responded so better. I felt lighter. I felt quicker playing sports, right? Took a lot of toll out of my knee, away from my knees, and my knees got better. Like, you know, I'm still injured, but I did some physical therapy and like started doing
Was it your
workouts.
ACL?
Yeah, both of my knees have partial muscle tear. So I haven't done surgery and it just got better. So I was like, why would anyone, for that fact, not want to do this? Like, you know, this is like the most amazing thing. And when you put some religious perspective to it, for us as Muslims, for any non-Muslims listening out there, for us as Muslims, it is from the Sunnah to take. It is from the prophetic example for us to take care of our body as well. So again, there's just a lot of factors that go into it. So in a nutshell, for me, the whole journey just started off like with the specific goal of getting married, turn into like a whole lifetime process of like, you know, just keep doing this better and better again every single day. You know, I try my best to like schedule a workout in whenever I can. If not, just do something, try to be active, play soccer, walk around, but just keep it moving. So it's pretty simple if you put it in perspective. You know, a lot of people start thinking that oh, it sounds so difficult. You know, how am I put so much work in 1 week and all I see is like down by 1 pound. They see the number and they get disappointed. But they don't see that how much it takes to get that 1 pound down. You know, they don't they think of it as work to get the results rather than a method or a lifestyle that they just like. It's just here's how I put it for people, right? You wake up every day, you use the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you breathe, but you don't consciously think about it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't consciously like count how many minutes, seconds, or whatever, you know, and they say it's like 2-3 minutes, whatever the recommended thing is. You don't actually do it. It's just in your mind, you know. It's all
Yeah.
that's why I tell people that fitness is something that's exactly how it should be. You should be doing it knowing that this is good for you and it will lead you to where you want to be. I mean, unless you're like a CrossFit bodybuilder, athlete, or someone who has specific goals where you like track down every single thing. For an average person, literally the minimum basic thing is how they're doing, you know. And this brings me to the discussion of like why it's easy, you know, like why people can do it, you know, why everyone can do it. It's really all about being conscious, not being conscious to a point where you're pinpointing every single grain of rice you eat, but being conscious of your habits. You know, a lot of people say that, oh, I'm sorry, I want to work out because I want to be able to eat anything I want. Yeah, that's what they say, right?
Yeah.
And these are the people that are like really like overweight. I was like, okay, every time I talk to someone, I was like, okay, you can do that, absolutely, but you got to get to a certain healthy level, a certain healthy weight, certain healthy body fat, a certain level of your fitness. After that, you can do whatever you want because you're in that process now. You can be overweight, obese, 250, 300 pounds, and be like, hey, I want to like work out right now and eat whatever I want because now it's too late for you. Now you gotta like
Mm.
reverse the cycle and come back, which is not difficult at all. You know, you can take baby steps. You know, there's so many things which through the next few episodes of this podcast we'll talk about how simplified it is. So in your experience, like what do you think, you know, that sometimes holds people back from doing this? Like, I don't, for me personally, I think it's very simple. I think people should be able to do it like right away. It's not like something they need to prepare their mind for, or like be plan like a whole month worth of journey. I think they should be able to do it.
Yeah, so to answer your question about what holds people back, well, before that, I wanted to add on to what you said about, brushing your teeth and doing things daily. So all this becomes a lifestyle. It's not something you should think about, okay, I'm just going to do it for 3 months and then I'm going to go back to what I've been doing before this. No, it's like you get used to these things. It's like you said, brushing your teeth, you're not counting how many circles you're making. So when you're working out, I think a lot of people, what they do is in their mind, they're focusing too much about the energy they're putting into it and the discomfort and how unpleasant it is. But if you just take baby steps, like you said, instead of like running a mile in 6 minutes, if you walk that mile in 15 minutes, every day it's going to get easier and easier. Then you pick up the pace. So I think it's a lifestyle, number one. And number two is when people focus too much about how unpleasant and how they don't like it, it becomes a stigma that working out is painful or it's just something that's going to tire me and I don't like it. When it should be the opposite. Working out is a part of your lifestyle every day. And while you're working out, it should be like something you like to do and time flies by rather than time slowing down. That's two things. But to answer your question about um, how people get held back and whatnot, I think it's the expectations. And what I mean by that is people that have a healthy lifestyle or you see are fit, they have that experience to see, let's say 1 week will not do anything, maybe not even a month. Maybe it'll take 2 or 3 months, and they know for a fact if they keep this up consistently, after 3 months, there's no formula to make it fail. Like it's gonna happen that your body adapts to a better change. But people that are beginners might think, first of all, they have to lift 300 pounds. They have to run a mile this fast within a week. What they don't realize is everyone started from their personal whatever it is. It wasn't already jacked and running as fast as they can or whatever it is. Everyone has a start. So I think expectations is what holds people back. And they need to realize, or we all need to realize, that 1 week or a month is not going to do it. That is just the building block for the future and what's to come. That's kind of your experiment to get used to, figuring out what works for you, number one. Number two is what it takes. Number three, take baby steps. And like I said, your body adapts to something once you get used to, let's say, doing 10 push-ups a day, then 12, then 15, then 20, then 30, then 40, and 50. So I think expectations is a killer, and then experience, people not having experience. That's why you see all these coaches, people pay them a lot of money for, because the coaches know what your body is capable of, not a beginner. He might think, okay, I'm eating this food. Why is my body not losing weight? Like I'm eating the right foods and whatever it is, but they might not have that experience or knowledge to say, okay, maybe you're eating the right foods, but you're eating too much of it. Cut it down a little bit. You can eat more foods, but eat more fruit or this or this or this with less calories in that food item, whatever it is. So expectations, knowledge, and experience are three things I feel like hold people back because they don't know any better. They're just like, okay, I've been doing this my whole life. It doesn't work. Like, what else? What am I supposed to do? When in reality, maybe there's a smarter, more efficient way to do what they're doing and they can have fun at the same time. Like some people like riding bicycles. Some people like swimming. Some people like sports. Stick to what you like, number one. Like I said, when you're having fun, time flies by. If you're doing something new that you don't like doing and you're just forcing it because you think it'll work, there's other routes to it. But ultimately, it's just experience and knowledge, I feel like, expectations
Sure,
as
no,
well.
definitely. And then I think that's like people forget that when it like people we just covered like why it's easy, right? And then people who are planning to get on it, who want to like new like year's almost ending. We're gonna have all these New Year's people who are like, oh, my New Year's resolutions to lose 50
Yeah.
pounds, whatever. How you guys can get on this is basically small steps, as Talha just mentioned. Like small steps. Don't think that, oh, I have a target of losing 5 pounds and that's it. After that, I'm done. Once you'll realize that once you put in the work to lose those 5 pounds, those things that you do to lose those 5 pounds, you will start enjoying those. And that 5 pounds becomes 10 pounds. That 10 pounds becomes 50 pounds. And it just keeps going to a certain level where you're just doing it because you love it at this point, And that's what, like you said, people have this expectation of like, oh, that person got ripped in 3 months. Why can't I be like that? When they don't know what that person's going through, what supplements he's taking, or like how his body, his genetics play a huge role in this, and how those things are a factor. So to wrap it up, I think it's very crucial to understand that your body is your own. Like it's unique. Your body, the way food adapts to your body, the way workouts adapt to your body are not going to be the same as the next person. And just enjoy the process, and again, when we cover a lot more episodes moving forward in this podcast, you will see that we will repeat a lot of these things. We'll repeat a lot of words such as calories, diet, workout, NEAT, your steps, your active, all this stuff, because that is basically what is going to lead you to a healthy lifestyle. So before we wrap up, Talha, you have any other discussion, any of the quick points you want to make for,
I guess one last
covering
one.
the whole thing that we talked about, what is the difference between fitness, what is the difference between fitness and health, how people can do it, why it's easy. And now that we've spoken about like why you and I and how we started it, it's really nothing that's like rocket science. It's really the simplest thing that we did.
Yeah, so just like anything else in life, it's just something you have to learn, I'd say. Everybody has a starting point. And your starting point, maybe your understanding of it might be a little different than someone else. You just have to find some other ways to understand what works for your body. Um, the different things, like you said, like diet and lifting, which reps, sets, whatever it is, the terminology and all of that. But then ultimately, it's a lifestyle, like I mentioned earlier. And what I mean by that is nothing negative, it's a positive thing. Where if you look at different cultures, for example, like the Desi culture, we eat a lot of oily foods, like biryani, samosa, fried foods. Another culture might
Love
eat
it.
another food. But the gym fit culture, we might want to eat these other kinds of foods, which is now our culture or lifestyle per se. And that's kind of where you have to find out what those foods are, number one. And you don't always have to eat clean, like, and only like 1,000 calories per day or whatever it is. Like Ruffy said, you learn how your body is and your genetics play a role in it. So some people might be able to eat like a cake and they just stay skinny and ripped. Like, and then some people might have a hard time even taking like 2 bites of a cake a day and they gain like stubborn fat somewhere. So it's all what works for you individually, number one, and then making that a lifestyle, which is not a negative term, but rather a positive one for positive change, and you get used to it. And now that's your culture and lifestyle, I guess.
All right. Thank you so much. And just I'll just wrap up with one quick thing is that you will realize that as we go on, we will talk about why you can enjoy life. When we talk about diet, we're not gonna you will see that how people talk about eating only broccoli, rice, and steamed vegetables. That is just not true anymore, at least. So we'll discuss more of that in the coming episodes. Thank you for joining in, and we look forward to hosting you again.